Lady yields back chair. Now recognize Mr. Burlison from Missouri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, it's said that we should stick to the facts. So here's the facts. It is a fact that since the Biden-Harris administration took office, there have been over 8.5 million illegal immigrants cross into the United States through the southern border. That is a fact. It is also a fact that that population is greater than the population of 37 states. Millions of them have been released. Almost 7 million have been released into the United States. It is also a fact that fentanyl is poisoning the American people. On average, in 2023, it killed 75,000 Americans. We're at war. They're at war with us. It is also a fact that you have violent crime occurring on a regular basis. And we all know the names of Laken Riley, Kayla Hamilton, Jocelyn Nungare. But just last month, you had a Mexican national who was here illegally shoot another man in Alabama. You had another individual just a few weeks earlier kill people in a drunken driving incident. In fact, there's been numerous cases where people are being killed by individuals who are not able to drive. In one case, an illegal immigrant took over a semi-truck and killed people. So these are all facts. You cannot ignore them. You cannot hide from them. So Mr. Krikorian, the state of Florida claimed that the federal court, that the Biden administration's policies, specifically the policies of parole and release, imposed significant costs on the state in educating minor children, housing. In addition, you have hospital visits. Has there been any studies as to the financial costs? We know the human cost. Have there been studies for the financial costs?
We have not done that. There have been studies on this. I don't have the numbers at hand, but it's often very difficult to get, especially at the state and local level, because there's unwillingness to provide the information often on the part of, for instance, school districts and others.
But they do put a strain on the community resources.
Enormous cost for, like you said, for schools, healthcare, law enforcement, et cetera.
We know that in addition, they have increased costs in incarceration, right, because they're committing crimes, sometimes violent crimes. What about other public services or law enforcement?
Well, law enforcement especially, obviously, it creates extra work for law enforcement. And I'd just like to add, because there'll be an objection, that a lot of these people are in fact paying taxes. All illegal immigrants, everybody pays taxes. But the question is, what is the balance? In other words, are the expenses on the services provided more than the taxes received? And the answer is, especially for those who are here illegally and with less education, the answer is yes. There's simply no question that that the federal taxpayer is, at the end of the day, on the hook.
It is also a fact that the House passed H.R. 2, a solution to this. The Senate had a response. They have, instead of actually correcting this and fixing this problem and passing H.R. 2, they devised the Senate bill. What were your thoughts on the Senate bill?
It would have made things worse. It was not a kind of thing where the House and the Senate bills could have split a difference. I mean, that happens. You all have dealt with that. That's inevitable in any kind of compromise. But the Senate bill was inherently problematic because it would have codified unlawful administration policies that lead to the release into the United States of illegal immigrants.
Right. It would have actually even handcuffed a future president who wants to do the right thing from actually closing down the border.
Right. That provision, that trigger that would have triggered an emergency ability to shut down the border would have expired basically, I think, in the middle of a new Trump administration. I think that was the thinking when the way they put it together.
Kamala Harris has said that she supports a border wall. But what has been the track record? Well, but what's the track record? I mean, the Biden-Harris administration has dismantled stretches of the border wall.
I mean, it really struck me the most when I went to a section in New Mexico where there was border wall being built, but on Inauguration Day, President Biden said, you know, sort of a stop work order, put your tools down, step away. There was a gate that had been put into the fence, required by treaty because there was a border marker on the other side. And there's an opening, and they put in a locked gate. It's something they're required to do. The opening, the doorway was there. The gate wasn't, because the Biden administration had stopped construction. And so there was literally, it was almost like something out of Blazing Saddles, you know, where there's a fence, and then there's just this big opening in the fence, and it's because they stopped construction. Later, years later, the administration said, okay, well, maybe we'll plug some of those holes. But, you know, it's a day late and a dollar short.
After 8.5 million people come in. Thank you. My time is
Gentleman's time's expired.